let's just stay with the developments around the MK party and speak to Dr. Levy Ndou on that briefing that we just heard a short while ago, with changes, significant changes being made within the party, and of course not a journalist not being allowed to ask questions. So let's just dissect some of what we've had to hear from the party's leadership through that statement. Doc, good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. And just on the face of it, what do you make of these particular changes?
Wongiwe, good afternoon to you and indeed to the viewers at home. These are not news that are coming as a surprise. I say so because since the inception of the MK party, there has been a lot of leadership changes. They are not surprising because the constitution of the MKP does allow the leader of the party, and in this case, President Jacob Zuma, to take decisions that are in the interest of his party, the MKP. And when you see all these changes that are coming in, they could be informed by a number of factors. Some could be on the basis of what they say, realigning and strengthening the party. But I'm saying to you now that this is not something new, it's not surprising, because these are not new changes in the leadership of the party.
Quite significant, though, to note that the son of the leader of the party is now the first deputy president of the party.
It should also not be surprising, one, that the leader of the MKP has always had the prerogatives to appoint people that are supposed to serve with him in the top leadership of the party. Because he's given all the powers by the constitution of the party, he is at liberty to choose anybody to be part of the leadership of the party. I am also not surprised that his son is his first deputy, because one, he is allowed to do so, but two, he has always done his best to ensure that his children are always having comfort in the party, and that is exactly what he did. I expected this to happen.
So what does it send? What kind of message does that send then to someone who supports the party and someone who is potentially within the rank and file of the party?
It depends on what you want to do as a member of the party. Are you joining the party that has a constitution that gives all the powers to one person? If you consciously join the party knowing all that, that will not be a problem. It would be a problem to people who feel that when they've joined the MK party or they support the MK party, they would therefore have to take the powers that the president has and exercise them differently. But as it stands now, because the constitution is known to everybody and people join parties voluntarily, it might not be a problem, because they join the party, they support the party, knowing that this is a Jacob Zuma project. Those that are leading with him might be removed at any time, but there is a position that will never be touched, and that is the position of the president. But another aspect that we need to look at is that there has never been any elective conference in the MKP. So as things stand now, it is the president who has all the prerogatives to take decisions on behalf of the entire MKP.
Does it not raise concern? I know that, you know, right now you say he's the center when it comes to the power within the party, but does it not raise concern? For example, when one thinks about the presidential task team, right, 6 days ago, there was this move to dissolve this presidential task team and then replace it with the strategic presidential task team. Days later, we are back to the presidential task team dissolving the strategic presidential team. essentially. So doesn't that raise concerns that in such a short space of time, you could have then have made a decision that the structure that you've just put in a couple of days ago, doesn't work. And then a couple of days later, you're bringing back the very one that you said was not working about 5-6 days ago?
It would raise concerns, and especially from those that are outside the party, because people expect parties to be run in a particular way that could meet certain political party standards. But in this case, we are dealing with a unique party that has got its own uniqueness, which has got its own rules and regulations that are clearly stipulated. Hence, I said that this is not the first changes in the leadership of the party. We still have to expect more until certain amendments or constitutional amendments have been made. I think one other aspect that we need to look at is that the leader of the MKP could be fully aware of the kind of the support base that is actually leading, that whatever he does would always be accepted by the rank and file, and indeed some of those that are in the leadership position. Unless you get people who start raising concerns about how things are happening within the party, maybe we can see a shift in how decisions are made. But there is one thing that Jacob Zuma has to rely on. It is the constitution of the party. It is the support of the rank and file and those that is leading with. And that is why he would continue to make as many changes as possible, as long as it's protected by the constitution of the MKP.
So quickly then, does this impact, in your view, at all on the party's, campaign towards the local government elections?
That will depend on how those that are being removed from positions will react and how they actually communicate these kind of messages. If people get into the party or they're invited to occupy positions and they are removed and no one is raising a concern to the party leadership, that is therefore understood as a practice within the party. But I think what the party still has to do is to continuously make an assessment as to the impact of these changes, if indeed they damage or build the party. If the party is not negatively affected, we should see more of these changes happening. If it's affected, it will talk to constitutional amendments of the party, which might not likely to happen very soon.
All right, appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to us, Dr. Levy Ndou, a political analyst, talking to us about the developments around the MK party.